Imagine a book where the text disappears after you read it. You turn the page, and the previous one is just blank. You can never go back. This isn't a fantasy novel concept. It's the exact mechanics of your memory. A study from the University of California found that we forget nearly half of what we learn within an hour of learning it. Our brains aren't designed for perfect recall. They're designed for survival, which means letting go, constantly, relentlessly. The pages aren't just turning. They're being erased right behind your eyes as you move forward. This is the book you are reading right now. This is your life. I was 24 the first time I truly understood that my childhood was gone. It wasn't a birthday or a graduation. It was a Tuesday. I was in a grocery store, pushing a cart with a wobbly wheel, and I saw a father lift his little girl onto his shoulders. She couldn't have been more than 4, her small hands gripping his hair, a sound coming from her, a pure, unadulterated giggle of absolute trust and joy. And in that moment, a scent hit me, a specific forgotten blend of cheap candy and my father's old leather jacket. It was a physical blow. It wasn't a memory I recalled. It was a memory that recalled me. It ambushed me in the frozen food aisle. And for a few seconds, I was that small again. I was on those shoulders. The world a manageable height below me. And then, the moment passed. The scent vanished. The cartwheel wobbled. And the page turned. The text of that entire era of my life, which I had assumed was just sitting there on the previous pages, waiting for me to revisit, was gone. I had just been given a fleeting, cruel glimpse of a chapter that had long since faded to white. I stood there, a grown man, feeling a loss so profound and so specific it was like a hole had been punched straight through my chest. I had been speeding through the book, and I hadn't even known I was reading it. This is the nature of the contract. You are handed a book the moment you draw your first breath. The binding is unfamiliar, the cover blank. You don't get a summary, you don't get reviews. You just start reading. And the first rule, the one you learn without being taught, is that the text is temporary. A moment happens. The warmth of a sunbeam on a carpet, the specific weight of your mother's hand on your forehead when you're sick, the taste of a particular brand of ice cream on a summer night that will never come again. You experience it, and then your eyes move on. The page turns, and the text, the vivid, living text of that experience, begins to fade. It doesn't vanish all at once. It bleeds away, slowly, the details blurring, the colors washing out, until all that's left is a ghost of an impression, a summary your brain writes for you. I had a happy childhood. That was a good summer. The specific text is gone. The individual words are lost forever. Most of us live our lives as if we're studying for a test that never comes. We skim. We highlight what we think are the important parts. The promotions, the weddings, the big vacations. We treat the rest, the millions of tiny sentences and phrases that make up the bulk of the narrative, as filler. Quiet breakfasts. The aimless drives with the windows down. The 5 minutes of silence with a friend where nothing needs to be said. We treat these as white space, and we rush through them to get to the next bolded headline. But the book doesn't care about your highlights. The mechanism of disappearance is impartial. It erases the grand speeches and the whispered goodnights with the same inexorable efficiency. And one day, you'll try to remember the exact sound of your best friend's laugh from 20 years ago, and you'll find the page is blank. You'll have the summary. He had a great laugh, but the melody, the specific sonic fingerprint of his joy, is a sentence that has disappeared forever. The second rule of this book is that you are the author, but you are also the reader, and you are a terrible, inattentive reader most of the time. You are reading the words, but you're not absorbing them. Your body is on the page, but your mind is 3 chapters ahead, or 10 chapters back. You are reading a sentence about walking through a park with your daughter, about her small hand in yours, about the way she's trying to step on every single crack in the pavement. But you are not there. You are mentally drafting an email to your boss. You are worrying about a bill. You are replaying an argument from yesterday. The sentence is being written. It is being experienced. And it is beginning to fade, all while you are somewhere else entirely. You are missing your own life as it happens. You are a ghost in your own story. I remember a period of my life I now refer to as the Great Rush. It lasted for years. I was building a career, chasing success, defined by a relentless forward momentum. My life was a checklist. Get the degree, get the job, get the promotion, get the car, get the apartment. Every achievement was a sentence I would quickly read, mentally check off, and then immediately look past, eager for the next one. The pages were turning so fast they were just a blur. I was reading for plot, not for prose. I was consuming my life, not savoring it. And then my father died. It was sudden. A phone call in the night. And in the crushing, silent aftermath, I tried to go back. I desperately, frantically tried to flip back through the book to find him. To find the last real conversation we had. To find the last time I truly looked at him, not as Dad, the fixed point in my universe, but as a man with his own fears and his own fading text. And I found summaries. I found we had a good relationship. I found he was proud of me. But the specific, textured moments? The last sentence he ever said to me that wasn't just transactional. The last time I saw the specific light in his eyes? Those pages were blank. I had been in such a hurry to write the next chapter of my own ambition that I had let the most important text of his final chapters fade away without ever really reading it. The pain of that is a different kind of pain. It's not just the pain of loss. It's the pain of negligence. It's the pain of realizing you were the custodian of a priceless, fragile manuscript, and you left it out in the rain. This is the quiet tragedy of our modern condition. We have built a world that actively encourages skimming. Notifications are the flicking of pages we didn't consent to turn. The endless scroll of social media is a million other books screaming for our attention, making us afraid to linger too long on our own single, precious volume. We have outsourced our memory to cameras, believing that if we capture the image, we have captured the moment. But a photograph is just a summary. It's a bookmark, not the text itself. It can show you that you were at the beach, but it cannot capture the feeling of the cool, wet sand giving way under your bare feet, the hiss of the retreating wave, the specific, salty taste of the air, the weightless, timeless feeling of being suspended between the water and the sky. You were so busy framing the shot, making sure the light was right, that you forgot to read the sentence. The page turned, and the real text, the living, breathing prose of the experience, faded while you were looking at a digital preview. You have the bookmark, but the page is blank. So, how do you read a disappearing book? You don't fight the disappearance. That's a war you cannot win. You can't cling to the pages. The desperation to hold on to a moment is often the very thing that ruins it. Trying to freeze time is like trying to stop the wind by clutching at it. You just end up with tired, empty hands. The answer is not in preservation. The answer is in attention. The only way to honor the text is to read it with everything you have, while it's right in front of you. You have to become a different kind of reader. A slow reader. A patient reader. You have to learn to read with your whole body. You have to taste the words. You have to feel their texture. When you are drinking your morning coffee, don't just drink it. Be there. Feel the heat of the mug in your hands, a small sun against your palms. Inhale the rich, bitter scent. Taste the complexity on your tongue, the slight acidity, the deep roast. That is a sentence. A sentence about a quiet morning, about a moment of peace before the day begins. Read it. Truly read it. Because in 10 years when your life is different, you won't be able to come back to this specific morning. But if you read it deeply enough, the impression it leaves, the ghost it creates, will be more substantial. It will have weight. It will have meaning. When you are talking to someone you love, put down the other books. Close the covers on your worries, your plans, your distractions. Look at them. Really look. See the way the light catches the flecks of color in their eyes. Hear the specific timbre of their voice, not just the words they are saying. Be present for the conversation. That conversation is a paragraph that is being written and erased in real time. You will never get it back. You can't rewind it. You can't replay it. All you can do is be there for its creation and its passing. Give it the dignity of your full attention. This is an act of rebellion. It is a quiet internal revolution against the culture of speed, against the tyranny of the next thing. It is choosing to linger on a sentence, even as you feel the irresistible pull of the next page. It is choosing depth over breadth. It is understanding that a life well read is not a life with the most bookmarks, but a life with a few pages you truly absorbed left a permanent impression on your soul. I started trying to do this after my father died. It was my atonement. It began small, painfully small. I would force myself to stop while walking to my car and just feel the wind on my skin. I would consciously pull my mind back from its frantic planning during a dinner with a friend and just listen, truly listen. It was hard. My mind, like a muscle trained for sprinting, kept trying to run ahead, but I would gently guide it back to the taste of the food, to the expression on my friend's face, to the sound of the room. I started to notice things I had been missing for years. The way my wife hums a little when she's concentrating on a task. The specific pattern of cracks on the ceiling of my old apartment. The way rain sounds different when it hits leaves versus when it hits concrete. These were not important sentences. They were not plot points. They were the beautiful, subtle prose that gives the story its richness, its atmosphere, its feel. I was no longer just reading for the story. I was reading for the love of the language. And a strange thing began to happen. As I paid more attention to the moments as they passed, my relationship with the past changed. The blank pages didn't feel as terrifying, because I realized that while the specific text was gone, the meaning I had derived from it remained. The love I felt during those moments with my father wasn't stored in the perfect recollection of his words. It was stored in me, in the person I became because he loved me. The faded pages left a watermark on my character. The book wasn't just disappearing, it was being absorbed. I was the book. The experiences, even the ones I had skimmed, were the ink that had written me. The ones I had read deeply were just written in a darker, more permanent ink. This is the third rule, the one you only learn after you've tried to fight the first two. The book is not external to you. You are not just the reader. You are the parchment. The words, as they are written and as they fade, are writing you. Your character, your spirit, your soul, whatever you want to call it, is the cumulative impression of every single sentence you have ever truly read. The moments of joy wrote resilience into your bones. The moments of heartbreak wrote compassion into your heart. The moments of quiet attention wrote depth into your consciousness. The pages turn. The text vanishes, but the shape of the story remains. It remains in you. Your life is a library of a single, unique, disappearing volume. And the goal is not to have a perfect photographic copy on a shelf. The goal is to be so changed, so marked, so written upon by the story, that when you reach the final page, you are a testament to everything you have read. The blank pages are not a tragedy. They are the necessary condition for the story to move forward. A book where the text never disappears would be a prison. You would be stuck forever on the same page, reliving the same sentence. The disappearance is what gives each moment its precious, unbearable weight. It is the engine of growth. It is the mandate for courage. So now here, in this moment, as you listen to my voice, a sentence is being written in your book. It's a sentence about listening, about reflection, about a quiet Tuesday or a hectic afternoon. This sentence is already beginning to fade. The page is turning. You can feel it, can't you? The subtle, inexorable movement forward. The question I have for you, the only question that really matters, is this. Are you reading it? Are you here? Or is your mind already on the next task, the next worry, the next digital distraction. This moment right now will never come again. This specific combination of thoughts and feelings is a one-time offering. It will soon be a blank page in your history. So what do we do with this? With this beautiful, terrifying truth? We don't despair. We don't frantically try to scribble notes in the margins. We read. We simply, courageously choose to read better. Start tonight. Start with your next meal. Don't eat it in front of a screen. Don't wolf it down while planning your tomorrow. Sit with it. Taste it. Let it be the only thing you are doing. That is a paragraph in your story. Give it the honor of your presence. Start with the next person who talks to you. Look them in the eye. Listen to what they are saying, and more importantly, to what they are not saying. Be a sanctuary for their words, because they are entrusting you with a piece of their own disappearing text. Start with your own breath. Just one. Feel the air fill your lungs, the brief pause, the gentle release. That is a sentence about being alive. This is the practice. This is the lifelong work of learning to read your own vanishing book. It is a practice of patience, of returning your wandering attention 1,000 times a day. It is a practice of courage, because to be truly present is to be vulnerable to the beauty and the pain of the moment as it passes. It is a practice of love, a deep, abiding love for the fragile, fleeting story that is yours and yours alone. Your life is not a thing to be managed. It is a story to be read, word by vanishing word. Read it like it's the only copy that will ever exist. Because it is. Read it with your whole heart. The pages are turning. Don't miss a single sacred word.